Alright, so this one's pretty big. Bethesda has a new game coming in 2017. This was confirmed, or really presented, by Pete Hines at PAX West. Basically, he was being asked questions by one of the guys over at Tech Syndicate, another YouTube channel. I will have their channel linked down below.
We have a ton of stuff going on, and we even have a game coming out this year that we haven't even told anybody about yet. So they can wait. It won't be so long. I'm not telling you.
Is it a new IP?
I'm not telling you.
He actually has a full interview where they talk about paid mods and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, basically Pete Hines just says, yeah, we have all these cool new games coming out, Elder Scrolls Legends, stuff like that, and there's also going to be one totally new IP that nobody's even talking about yet. That is an unannounced game coming in 2017 from Bethesda. I would not get your hopes up too high. I think I know what this is going to be, and I think it's going to be a new mobile game for Skyrim, or maybe a new Elder Scrolls. Pretty similar to how Fallout Shelter worked in anticipation for Fallout 4. I think it's going to be something very similar to that style, a kind of cool but simple mobile game. Maybe they made a ton of money off Fallout Shelter and were like, hey, look, this whole microtransaction thing actually produces a lot of revenue. In addition, Bethesda actually opened up a new studio, that being Bethesda Montreal. That's of course Bethesda Game Studios, the developer, not the publisher. Bethesda themselves did confirm in a previous interview that they would be working on a new mobile game. They also confirmed they'd be working on 2 new IP AAA games, so it really could be any of those things. But if we put our thinking caps on, it actually makes a lot of sense. Bethesda opens up a new studio, hires some people with a mobile background in mind. That studio has yet to release anything, so this could be the first new release from them. But even further, think about the logistics of releasing a totally new game. Obviously, the turnaround on Fallout 4 was really quick. We found out about the game and we had it in our hands only like 6 months later. But in this case, you'd basically have to release whatever game this is within 2 months to hit the holiday season, and they have to hit the holiday season. If you miss that time period, well, let's just say you miss out on a ton of revenue. But a mobile game, you could just easily put up on an app store, put it up on Steam or whatever it may be, and download it really quickly. There's not too much in regards to actually getting physical copies to retail locations and as much advertising and all that. But I guess there's a kind of hopeful part of me that this actually turns out to be something more. There's been rumors about a new game from Bethesda called Starfield having a very similar genre when compared to Fallout 4 and Skyrim, basically another open world RPG, but this new game, Starfield, would in fact take place in a futuristic setting, like a sci-fi version of Skyrim or Fallout 4. Obviously, Fallout 4 does take place in the future, but maybe a non-post-apocalyptic future where there's actually advanced technologies and stuff like that. There's also that Bethesda Game of Thrones leak. A lot of people assume that's fake, but who knows, maybe that'll come to fruition. There's a lot of possibilities here. Bethesda, again, did say they are working on 7 new games. Some of those do encompass Fallout 5 and the next Elder Scrolls game, but either way, that still leaves room for something pretty cool to come out of Bethesda, or maybe one of Bethesda's studios like Bethesda Montreal. And something just real quick that I noticed while editing this video, I was watching the full interview on my second monitor. Pete Hines was not prompted with this question.
But go ahead and tell us what you want people to take away from this show here. Like, and we're going to go check out the VR.
Yeah, we have 9 games hands-on here, all of which are like either coming out this year or already out. So
the interviewer here basically said, hey, is there anything you do want to mention? And Pete Hines said, yeah, we're releasing 2 new games, showing them off here, and then he, on his own accord, kind of mentioned how a 3rd one was coming. So it seems like this is something Bethesda wanted people to know coming out of PAX West. Again, just a simple observation, take from that what you will. Another little thing I noticed, he does say that 2 new full IPs are coming from this studio before the next Elder Scrolls.
So do you have another Elder Scrolls game in the works right now? Are you allowed to answer this?
I mean, as we've said before, we will make the Elder Scrolls 6, but there are 2 other major titles for that studio to make first. And so
as I did mention before, we have a whole new studio, Bethesda Montreal. Could that be a factor here? I mean, he was really specific. He didn't say from Bethesda. He said from this studio. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but regardless. I mean, there's only 3 months left in the year, so time will literally tell with this one. They have to make an announcement, I think, within the next 2 months, because they have to have this game available before Christmas. That's just such a big spending period for Americans that it'd be really silly not to. Plus, Christmas is really kind of the end of the year. I imagine we're going to hear a lot more about whatever this may be going forward. Again, I really suspect it's going to be a new mobile game that's going to be another companion game to an existing franchise like Fallout, the Elder Scrolls, or maybe even one of the new ones coming in the next few years. All around really interesting. I'm going to be reading through the comments. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about this. As always, I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.